Star Wars Battlefront hit the scene at the end of 2015. It was going to be one of those dream come true games, a premium AAA Star Wars game by the developers of the finest line of first-person shooters, DICE. A successor to the original Battlefront games, much beloved by many. How could it possibly go wrong? The official reveal for the next Battlefront game is happening today during the Star Wars celebration in Orlando, Florida. So it's the perfect time to dive into the analytics behind the successes and failings of Battlefront to answer the hard question: did it fail? A lot of us remember the first time we set our eyes on the new Battlefront. It was one of those reveal trailers, and I gotta be honest, I almost crapped my pants. It looked unbelievable in the game we all wanted, the Battlefront of the past, souped up with the Frostbite engine, Luke, Vader, space battles, galactic conquest, and so much more. Just a colossal game with huge planets to explore and adventure to be had. That was pretty much what we all expected. Now, the open beta for Battlefront came to us just a few short months after the reveal, in October of 2015. The anticipation, good lord, leading up to it was out of control, and in total, 9.5 million players hopped into what they expected to be the biggest game of the year. It's a huge number and one of the largest open betas in history. We were just stunned by the beauty of Battlefront, and the recreation of the snowy fields of Hoth and the black craters of Sullust were dumbfounding, a result of the advances of a new type of photogrammetry processing that made the game just look real. We were finally in Star Wars. So after 4 days of play, we were eager to see where this tiny slice, this teasiest of teases, would take us in a galaxy far, far away. Surely there was much more to come, right? Fast forward to the launch of the game, and players found something that they didn't expect. A husk of a game, thin and lacking in content, features, and satisfying gameplay. It wasn't what we expected or wanted at all. It was a mess. No space battles, no galactic conquest, arcade-style coin pickups for power-ups, a skill ceiling with the combat that could be reached within 5 minutes of playing, and worst of all, no campaign of any sort. Players were beyond pissed, especially on the PC, where it stands as the lowest rated DICE game ever to be released. The critics, on the other hand, were a little bit more forgiving, giving Battlefront an average of 74 between all systems. So the launch was kind of a disaster, and the now legendary line by Peter Moore as the fitting cherry on top. Very few people actually play the single player on these types of games. That's what the data points to. What data was he looking at? Star Wars Battlefront was obviously rushed out the door to release in tandem with The Force Awakens at the end of 2015. To most people, Battlefront fans in particular, it was a slap in the face from EA and DICE. Despite its reception, Battlefront is one of the most successful AAA games ever to be released. In its first 2 months, Battlefield shipped 12 million copies and sold 14 more million copies the following year. So yeah, they sure cashed in with Star Wars, didn't they? To date, Battlefront has sold over 27 million copies. Now, publishers see about 40% of that amount, and if we do the quick math on it, that's $650 million in initial revenue. Now add the profits generated from the season passes and those collector's editions, and we're looking at a Fort Knox amount of money for EA. Here is a rough estimate of the concurrent player counts in Battlefront during the first 3 months for its PC audience. Unfortunately, this is all the data I could round up for Battlefront. But these aggregate trends still tell a very insightful story. We see a 36% decrease in the player counts in the first 5 days alone, and an 87% decrease after just 3 short months. This is a huge drop-off and seems to coincide with the negative reception of the game received from fans, especially on PC. However, I can imagine that due to its console-friendly style gameplay design, Xbox and PlayStation 4 owners stuck around for longer than this. Even still, this is a very bad trend for what was going to be the biggest game of the year. Finally, let's look at viewer counts, seeing as how first-person shooters are one of the most popular streaming genres. Here are the trends, and really, there's just not much to say. In the same 3-month period following its release, 91% of its viewers had abandoned the game on Twitch. Battlefront's DLC and future patches would go on to add more to the game and attempt to reel players back in. Space battles were eventually added, more planets, weapons, and modes, but they couldn't save the game in the public eye. To most fans of the franchise, Battlefront was crippled to its core, a casual game that took the fast-paced, low-recoil shooting mechanics of a Call of Duty and covered it in a Star Wars paint job. So did Battlefront fail? Financially, absolutely not. Quite the opposite. But to us, the Battlefront fans, you bet your ass it did. But I remain optimistic for the future of Battlefront. I think they've got the groundworks for an amazing game, no doubt about it. We just have to hope that EA pulls their heads out of their asses and tries to see more to the equation than simple dollars on a spreadsheet. But what about you guys? What do you think of Battlefront and the sequel coming, most likely, at the end of this year? Let me know down below in the comment section. And thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, by all means hit the thumbs up button and subscribe here for more of our future content. And you guys have a kick-ass day.